This guy's asking about your motorcycle. He says, Woody, where'd the motorcycle go? If you still have it, you're going to make any moto vlogs. And Kyle, this is the reason I wanted to do this. Would you ever get a motorcycle? I'll go first if you want me to, or you can.
I'll just go real quick. Yeah, it's getting to be Woody motorcycle season again. I'm one of those guys that wears all that protective gear, and the summer was just freaking sweltering hot. Every day I've been like it's rained the past couple days. But yeah, I do intend to break that thing out shortly. This is my time.
Well, you definitely should wear the protective gear. I'm glad that you do. No, I can't see myself ever getting a motorcycle. First of all, I really admire them as a piece of machinery. I think they're one of the coolest looking pieces of machinery there are. I don't know much about motorcycles, but like I've seen literally hours of YouTube videos of guys on various kinds, and I find them really sexy. I really like them. They go so goddamn fast. But the thing is, the videos I watch are motorcycle crashes. So I've seen so many people eat shit on crotch rockets and go barreling down highways at 200 kph or hitting guardrails at 60, 70 miles per hour and go flying, or hitting, sometimes it's not even their fault. Sometimes a car just turns in front of them and they hit a fender and they go flying. Sometimes a car pulls in front of them and they hit it in the boot, in the trunk, and they end up on the roof of the car all cut up. And the really fun videos are when guys they get cut off, the biker does, and he punches the mirror off their car. There's whole montages of that. I like that.
So I've ridden motorcycles for a long time, since I was 17 actually, and if you sort of adopt this everything's your fault philosophy, I think that gets you pretty far. Every intersection you go through, even if you have a green light, you should be looking for people making mistakes. That's a motorcyclist's responsibility. They shouldn't be making a left on you, but understand that you're practically invisible. So even with my bright green helmet and coat and all that stuff, the one that gets me is the rear-ended at the stoplight. Like that's just...
Oh, yeah.
And it happens. And you're like...
You can't really avoid it.
Yeah. Now there are people who are like, always leave it in gear. Look at your rear views, ready for the... Dude, I don't think I do that well. I'm vulnerable to getting rear-ended. And there's a lot to track, right? If you're going to pull out in the intersection instead of getting rear-ended, then you're making a choice here, right? Like, what's in the intersection? There's a lot to watch. Yeah. They're dangerous. There's no doubt about it. And compared to a paramotor, the accident stats are worse. And...
Oh yeah, there aren't cars up there too.
yeah. I would text and I would text and fly any day. Yeah, it's you're up there by yourself. And the thing about a paramotor is usually the problems are your fault, right? Like there's some skill you should have been better at. There's a decision you should have made. On the motorcycle, it can just really not be your fault. You could be stopped at a red light, but I do love them so.
Chiz, find a brutal video of somebody getting rear-ended on a motorcycle.
It'll take half a second. Filthy, I know you cycle. Do you cycle around like public roadways, around vehicles and stuff, or you go to the park? You do.
Yeah.
Is it scary sometimes? Like if you have
I'm always surprised by the fact that I lived through that, honestly. Like, because I cycle on where there are prairie paths around here, which are some of them converted railways, and some of them are just like paths maintained by the towns, but they cross major roads all the time, and there's been all sorts of fucking shitty near misses with that, with people who don't see you or don't stop for you. I had one, I remember like I'm crossing some shitty intersection on this route, and there's this, I get my walk signal, so I'm crossing the thing, and it's like someone's jumping the end of their light, and like they come close enough, and a guy comes, he's a huge piece in this pickup truck going super fast, and like I slam on my brakes so I don't get hit by that. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I said that out loud, and he responded as he's going by. He's like, I can't remember exactly what it was right now, but he's like, that happened or something like that. Like it's some like total like not apologetic, total like fuck you thing, as he almost killed me with his vehicle. And I'm like, wow, that's the mentality I'm dealing with.
The consequences are so much different
Lopsided.
For him than you. He gets like a $300 dent in his truck. You die.
There's also a thing about cyclists.
He has to go to prison though.
Wow.
Yeah. There are a lot of drivers who feel like you shouldn't be on the road. At least motorcycles. Most people understand like motorcycles are a motor vehicle, and they belong on streets. A lot of them, I want you to ride on the sidewalk. Really? Because I go like, I don't, but I would assume you often go 25 miles an hour. You're supposed to do it on the sidewalk.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like sharing the roadways with cyclists. If I'm being completely honest, like I've driven through like parts of East Atlanta where they have their own little lane, and it's like, oh my God, like if the cycle wasn't there, I already have to dodge oncoming traffic and cars that are parked in the roadway. So there are times when that's a complication. And now there's this guy over there whose life I'm responsible for, because if I hit him, he's fucking dead, because he's just sitting there on a piece of aluminum and carbon fiber over there. When I see a cyclist, I'm focused on it, because the last thing I'd ever want to do is hit that guy. Like, I could just imagine how much it'd fuck my car up. So it's
especially if he's a bigger guy. Like me.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. What's
You've
the
never
weight
seen
of
a fat cyclist.
I'm not a hunter, guys. Some of you guys must be, right? What's the weight of a deer? Like, what does it consist? Like, hitting a cyclist, like a adult male cyclist, compared to a deer, who's going to do more damage to your car?
Well, the bicycle's metal.
Yeah,
and the deer doesn't have any metal parts I'm aware of.
Yeah, because you got a man, like a deer weighs about the same as a man, like a small deer is like 100, 120 pounds, and a big deer, like white-tailed deer in the South, it's going to be like 140 to 170 pounds for a real big one.
So it's like hitting a short man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. But they got, they got the antlers, and they got different bone structure, and they're a little lower to the ground. Their body mass is a little lower. You hit a deer, you know it.
Yeah,
I've never hit a person.
I need that, like, I need some sort of like PSA style like advertisement around here. Like, I'm 6'2" and 180 pounds. I'm much bigger than a deer. I'm gonna fuck your car up if you hit me. I need that like broadcast, some self-interest like going on for people.
Yeah, wear a shirt that says like, think of your hood.
That's
you don't want to be popping dings out, and I don't want to be ruining my family's weekend with an unplanned funeral.
Yeah, right. But it does remind me, like, I mean, this has always been something amazing for me as car. Like, the fact that all of our motor vehicles are controlled by another human being, with all the fallacies, like problems and, fuck ups and last attention that human beings have. I'm always surprised that there aren't more deaths from automobiles. And I'm surprised how safe it mostly is out there. Because I'm always out there like, man, I mean, there's like a guy over there. He's driving a little erratically. He's probably had a couple beers. He's on his fucking cell phone. He's arguing with his wife in the car. He's swerving left and right. And yet he's not killed anyone yet tonight, which seems like a pretty good thing. And I'm always a little impressed by that.
And the cars have gotten so much better. Like, when I was young, when I was first learning to drive, there was almost a debate over like, oh yeah, these cars, they're not safe like they used to be. You take an old, 67 Pontiac, whatever. Those things were built like bricks, houses. And nowadays they all crumple up because they were just sort of figuring out that like crumple zones made cars safer. And all you needed was like space to live in that little passenger compartment. Yeah. And now, like every so often, you see like a 67 Bel Air, I don't know my cars, against a modern Malibu. And, dude, that old car is a death trap. Yeah. And I've been getting into car YouTube channels, like this Doug DeMario or something in particular, but a bunch of them. And every so often, I like, some of these fun cars are on the edge of like impulse purchase a bit. Like, like I could drop 14 grand on something cool like that. That thing's 22. I could have that. There's no reason I couldn't just do that. And then it's like, but it's deadly. I'm really taking a go-kart out on public streets if I get this.
You're putting a lot of faith in the hands of other commuters.
Yeah. But I think where that misconception comes in, or maybe it's a correct conception to some extent, is like really minor fender benders in like a 55 Bel Air. That thing's got this big chrome bumper on the front that you could tap another car at 8 miles an hour and zero damage would be incurred to you anyway. It's just a big fucking plow bar on the front that's just going to go bang. But his like 2017 Malibu is going to be all crumpled up in the back and the plastic's going to be torn in. But of course, at a crash at 35 miles per hour, you're going to be real fucked up in that Chevy, in that 55 Chevy, whereas that Malibu is going to crumple up, decelerate. You're inside this really strong roll cage type thing that's just keeping you safe with side airbags and rear airbags and front airbags, and everything's safe and better for you. Yeah, modern cars are